don't they get a moral tone? Why don't you make them feel that they should be contributing? Why are they?
Well,
I'm looking at him like he's the guilty party.
I know, but I'm all about the maximum GDP, the maximum prosperity, the maximum amount that we can all take home. And I love when individual businesses use that as a strategy, use green approaches as a strategy, and so on. But again, economics is the study of scarce resources, and we can't simply stroke a pen in legislation and then suddenly expect there to be no unintended consequences that come along with it. If we look at, let's say, a family-owned restaurant, and again, small business is the lifeblood of the economy. 77% of the new jobs created in Canada from 2001 to today were in small business. So the big business we like to harp on quite a bit, but people like you is what it comes down to. And many of these, restaurants who are hiring, 18-year-olds as dishwashers and so on, are not going to be able to make ends meet if they have to pay $15 an hour for every single type of worker out there. So then there's two options. Either number one, reduce your labor force. And my concern is for the most vulnerable people in the labor force, the disabled, the older workers, the less productive workers. I have disabled members in my family who work for minimum wage. And I get concerned every single day that if this type of legislation passes, they're the first ones in the crosshairs where they might be laid off or their entire organization might fall as a result. So my pathway to prosperity is through keep the laws where they're at now and let individual entrepreneurs and individual corporate strategies dictate how much they should pay. And
so how do you overcome what he says?
Well, unfortunately, the reality is right now in Canada, we have corporations that are sitting on $680 billion of dead money that they've gotten. So first of all, there's no free market. There's corporate welfare. And I think this is why there's such a movement. People are angry because there's not a basic fairness in that. They're not seeing the benefits of it. So I think I'm glad to see there's pressure on increasing minimum wage and adopting living wage. I think they work together. And you've seen cities now across the U.S. who are adopting a living wage policy, and they're actually mandating all businesses in their communities to do that because they're recognizing that this isn't going to people aren't going to accept this.
The most vulnerable typically are hurt. The OECD and Canada's Ministry of Finance both indicated.
Let's give Shane a little
but 10% higher minimum wage results in about 4 to 6% more poverty. So
I think my thing is, you're right. This money just seems to sit at the top, right? And where is it going, right? You look at, I love my iPhone and I love my computer, but this company just has billions and billions and billions of dollars just sitting in bank accounts, and then people are publicly trading it and making money on top of money that's already made. Whereas, and hiring, labor out of China and Mexico, and right, it's this need to pay the least to make the most, and I think that philosophy is going to have to change over the next 10, 15, 20 years for it to be a little more local and a little more kind of community-centered and a little more personable.
Okay, you've had the last word. You owe me money, but that's okay. Folks, again, we've come to the end of a very interesting discussion. I'd like our panel in 30 seconds to tell them why you thought it was what it is, and I'll go first this time. Again, you folks have done me proud. You've demonstrated your leadership. You've demonstrated for me why you're here is because you're thinkers. You're not regurgitators. You are going to be able to succeed in this world because you can think for yourself. And I think that's something, a skill that will always be with you. And for your contributions today, I really sincerely thank you. Tanya, what's your thoughts?
The panel today was fantastic. I always love these discussions because we get to see the youth. Oh. Sorry, I thought we were done. I always love these discussions because we get to see the youth of our community, which you guys are our future, right? So to have these critical discussions and these critical thinking, definitely keep it up and definitely keep asking your profs and your teachers questions and keep challenging, because I think you guys are going to be change makers in our community for sure.
Yeah, I'm completely inspired and heartened by the fact that you are taking this issue on, and you're even to engage in the debate is just so healthy and important. But I think you are the generation, the millennials, who are really going to make the change, who are change makers and want to see a better, fairer society. And I think it has to start at this at this stage. So I'm really thrilled, and I'm happy to get you any materials you need, buttons, pamphlets, to go out and be ambassadors for this issue, because that's how I think we're going to create a bigger movement.
Jeremy?
Oh, I have the microphone. My pathway to prosperity is build your skill set. If you can add $40, $50, $80, $100 an hour because of your high degree of talent to Shane's business, he'll gladly pay you $80 an hour if you can add $100 an hour to his bottom line.
Whoa.
Would you? Would you? I know you would, though. Think about it. You get the best person, you will do it. And business owners will only pay what they can afford to pay. If you have a $12 an hour skill set, they can't pay you more than that, or else that job doesn't exist. Right. If you have a $1,000 an hour skill set, because you're the best corporate lawyer in M&As out there, you can get paid up to that amount for the firm that you're working for. So build your education, understand both sides of an argument, and understand there's always unintended consequences to every type of political and economic change that's administered.
Mm-hmm. No, I just want to say thank you, guys. It's great to hear from you. And I think my only takeaway is, you are moving into an environment where I think differentiation is the biggest thing. You have to stand out. You have to build. We talk about building your brand, and I think that's really important, because the more you know yourself and the more you project yourself, the more people really understand who you are. And as we talk about, it's small business, it's the Kickstarter world, and Indiegogo. It's having a crazy idea and just going with it, and having millions of people in the world buy, whether it's a small item or something big, from more of a charity standpoint. You have the resources there for you, and this is probably one of the first times in ever that you as a whole can be a business and you can sell something and make money. So whether it's that or wanting to be hired by a company, just really understand yourself and pitch it.